this is like a pretty standard Mogul zipper line right here.
Yep.
Right? And what I'm thinking most of the time is I want to be engaging the beginning of the turn, pretty much right after this Mogul stop. I want to be on my new downhill ski as long as possible. So like here's where I'd want to be pointed straight into the next turn.
Okay.
Because it's so flat and this objective, I'd point it as straight as possible. But if I wanted to get some speed control, find a little more control in the bump, or I'm just not taking such an aggressive line, I would pick a wider path.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't necessarily hit the Mogul so straight on. So if I was going super direct, I would aim to put my tip with my weight going into the Mogul on my downhill ski right here. And this is where I begin the initiation into the next turn. But if I wanted to go slower,
you're moving up a little?
Move it up.
Gotcha.
And then here is really where you make like a mini card. And it's where absorption and extension come in. Because on a Mogul ski, you're not finishing the whole turn. You're doing the first half, and then once you load the downhill ski into the Mogul, you absorb that, retract and pull your feet underneath, and then you take all that pressure and you put it into your new ski. So now my new downhill ski is my right ski, and I'm going into a right Mogul.
Yep.
And if I wanted to take it super direct, super aggressive, I would just point it straight and hit the smallest part of each Mogul. But oftentimes I'll look at the Mogul and think, oh, I want to take this one a little more narrow because it's a little bigger. But the smaller ones will take more head on because they're not as intimidating, they're not as difficult to ski, they don't require as much energy.
Yeah. How important is patience when skiing your bump? Like I see a lot of people not waiting, they're making the turn too early because they cleared the last bump when really they should just be pointing it a little bit straight and hanging it. How do you feel about that? Is that in your mindset at all, or is that?
Absolutely, and that's something that was really ingrained into me when I was competing, is to be as patient as possible for the next bump. You don't need to make the turn until the bump is there. And sliding is a huge thing that you can do in skiing, and like I would say it's similar to a stivet in alpine racing, where you need to you need to take a weird line for a moment for a turn.
Yeah.
That's how I always used it. And that's probably not the best technique either.
Yeah, it's like
it's just something you can do. It's a different way to ski.
Nice. Don't be afraid to go for more control. Round out the turn a little bit. Don't be afraid of the top half of the bump. Kind of shave that off a little bit. Is that how you're getting control, or is it?
So to find control, you just don't need to slide. Although I do slide, you just don't want it to be your primary technique, because it's just not as visually appealing. One, it's like lack of a proper turn technique. You're not really getting on edge and carving the ski with the slide. And it just hurts more too. Bump after bump.
Just like magic, sitting flush with a royal flush, aces back to back.